Welcome, deep divers, to another journey into the truly bizarre and unexplained. Have you ever found yourself alone in the quiet depths of the wilderness, perhaps just a few feet from your tent, or deep within a forest trail, and suddenly, without warning, that unmistakable prickle erupts in the back of your neck?
Oh, yeah.
That profound, chilling sensation of being watched, even when every rational part of your mind insists there's nothing there, nothing at all. It's more than just a feeling, isn't it? It's a whisper from something ancient, something hidden, lying just beyond the thin veil of our everyday perception. Today, we're not just going to acknowledge that feeling, we're going to lean into it hard.
Indeed. And to be clear, what we're about to embark on today isn't merely a collection of spooky stories or sensational tales designed for a quick scare. Our mission is far more significant.
Right.
We're delving into a series of incredibly specific first-hand accounts, rich with unnerving details, that directly challenge our fundamental understanding of the natural world and, frankly, push the very boundaries of what we might consider paranormal. These encounters didn't just occur in the remote, untouched wilderness. Some unfolded in surprisingly close-to-home settings, forcing us to ask a profoundly uncomfortable question. What exactly is out there, and how much of our reality have we simply failed to perceive?
That's a powerful and slightly unsettling premise, isn't it? So, for this deep dive, we've pulled together two distinct yet thematically linked sets of source material. First, we have the Midnight Ranch Encounter and Motel Haunting.
Okay.
This is a peculiar New Year's Eve incident that took a shockingly bizarre turn, followed by an equally strange aftermath miles away. Then we'll transition into Wilderness Encounters, The Hunter's Strange Tales, a collection of harrowing accounts from an incredibly experienced hunter.
Experienced.
These aren't just one-off anecdotes. They're consistent, unnerving reports that will genuinely make you rethink that solo camping trip you might be planning. Our mission for you, the listener, is to sift through these incredible details with us, identify any underlying patterns that emerge across these seemingly disparate incidents, and then truly consider the profound implications of what happens when the known world gives way to the truly inexplicable.
Yeah, what makes these stories so incredibly compelling?
Exactly. And perhaps more importantly, what can we learn about how people truly react at a primal level when faced with something utterly beyond their comprehension?
Right, that primal fear response.
So let's begin by setting the scene for our first source, the Midnight Ranch Encounter. It's New Year's Eve back in 2009. Imagine a festive gathering, people celebrating at a ranch with our narrator present. Picture a group casually chatting by a fence line, the air filled with the general good cheer of the holidays. Seems perfectly normal, right?
Totally normal start.
But then the atmosphere takes a subtle, almost conspiratorial turn. A particular couple from the group breaks off, pulling our narrator aside for a private conversation, moving down the fence line, just a little removed from the main festivities. And that's when they reveal their actual plan. They intend to return later that evening after the guided tour is over, with a clear intention to look around when nobody was looking.
It's that phrase, up to no good, that really sets the stage, isn't it? This wasn't just a casual wander. It was an intentional, slightly mischievous plan to explore beyond the sanctioned areas, almost an invitation for something to happen.
Yeah, like asking for trouble.
Exactly. And sensing this unusual intent, our narrator, almost presciently, made two very specific requests. First, to contact them if anything were to happen during their illicit exploration. And second, to share any photos they took, just in case something out of the ordinary appeared in them.
Good thinking, as it turns out.
Yeah. Little did any of them realize how incredibly relevant and how quickly that seemingly casual request would become.
And this is precisely where the story pivots dramatically. From mere mischievous intent to something profoundly anomalous, something that suggests a consciousness beyond our own. Before they even rejoined the main group, the husband, almost on a whim, decided to snap a flash photo of a specific corner.
Just randomly.
Pretty much, where two fences met, precisely where they'd been having this private, hushed conversation. What that photograph revealed, when they looked at it later, was utterly chilling. A distinct silhouette of a man.
Okay, a silhouette.
But here's the crucial mind-bending detail. This silhouette was completely, utterly invisible to the human eye at the time the photo was actually taken.
Wow. Okay.
It was just there on the other side of the fence, almost casually and oddly appeared to have a cigarette or toothpick in his mouth.
You've hit on the core enigma there. The fact that it's only visible via flash photography suggests an entity operating on a different spectrum of light, or perhaps even a different plane of existence.
Right, not just invisible, like see-through.
Exactly. It's not simply transparent, it's undetectable by normal human vision, yet a camera's flash, with its specific wavelength and intensity, can capture it. This isn't an optical illusion. It implies a physical presence that simply doesn't reflect or absorb light in a way our eyes can process. And the cigarette or toothpick detail. What's particularly unsettling about that is it lends a distinctly human, almost casual affectation to an otherwise unseeable presence.
Yeah, that's weirdly specific.
It's like a deliberate, almost mocking mimicry of human behavior. It makes you wonder, is it trying to appear familiar? Or is that simply how it manifests partially in our reality?
That's a fascinating point, the idea of mimicry or a partial manifestation. What kind of intelligence would choose such a subtle yet unnerving detail? It fundamentally alters your entire perception of what presence even means.
Totally.
Is it some kind of energy signature, a trick of light captured by technology, or something truly non-physical interacting with our reality in a very specific photographic way?
We just don't know.
And what's even more compelling is that this isn't an isolated incident, not by a long shot. Here's where it gets really interesting and starts to reveal a pattern. Our narrator immediately recalled a previous homeowner's photograph taken in the exact same location back in the 1990s.
Pick out. Same spot.
Exact same spot. And that flash photo also showed a strikingly similar figure. But in this older picture, the description was even more detailed. A humanoid figure leaning against the fence with a flat face and large yellow eyes.
Okay, whoa. The undeniable continuity across different decades, different people, and the exact same location is truly the linchpin here.
It really connects the dots.
It strongly suggests a persistent, localized presence. The description from the older photo provides significantly more detail than just a silhouette. The flat face and large yellow eyes push this beyond a simple man and into something distinctly non-human, despite its humanoid form.
Definitely not human.
This isn't a random anomaly, it's a recurring entity, deeply connected to that specific spot on the ranch. It deepens the mystery of what this entity truly is and raises the crucial question. Was it merely observing, or was it actively participating and listening in on the conversation unfolding around it?
So this brings us to a really provocative question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As the narrator pondered, was this the same guy, and was he listening in on the conversation about them sneaking back later that night? And the narrator's answer, a resounding, almost indignant, "You know he was, and boy, did he have a surprise waiting for them." This isn't just a passive observer expert. This implies an intelligent, aware entity privy to their intentions and actively preparing for their return.
Yeah, that's a leap, but
What does it mean if these phenomena aren't just random occurrences, but responses to human intent?
precisely. That's a powerful point, the idea of a conscious retaliatory entity. If we consider the intent behind these actions, how does that fundamentally change how we categorize or even begin to understand these encounters?
Right.
It pushes us into the realm of true intelligence, rather than just random energetic phenomena or residual hauntings. In many paranormal accounts, there's a recurring theme of entities reacting to human curiosity, trespass, or even negative intent.
Like they're guarding the place.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's almost as if certain places or the intelligences tied to them have their own form of territorial imperative or rules of engagement.
Right.
The narrator's certainty that this entity was listening in and had a surprise waiting suggests a very active, aware, and perhaps even punitive intelligence.
Punitive, huh?
And that, of course, sets up the next incredibly unsettling chain of events.
And those events did not disappoint. The couple, driven by their earlier intention, did indeed return to the ranch later that night, just as they'd planned. But their sneaking around was immediately met with an undeniable primal fear.
Oh boy.
As they stood close to where that photograph of the invisible man was taken, the wife felt her hair stand on end. It's that visceral, physical reaction that signals something profoundly wrong.
That immediate gut feeling.
She told her husband with absolute certainty and urgency, "Something or someone is right behind me and we need to leave immediately." This isn't a rational thought process. It's a pure, unadulterated, instinctive warning.
Fight or flight kicked in.
They began walking quickly back to their vehicle, but that feeling intensified. They felt someone or something following them, a creeping dread that quickly morphed into outright, undeniable fear, causing them to quicken their pace into a desperate sprint.
That physical sensation of hair standing on end, that undeniable gut feeling of being pursued, it's not something you can just rationalize away or ignore. It triggers an immediate, desperate fight-or-flight response, a primal instinct kicking in.
Absolutely.
And then, as you mentioned, the experience ratchets up another notch in a way that truly blurs the lines between physical and psychological terror. Out of nowhere, they suddenly estimated, a dozen coyotes were only a few yards behind us, forcing them into a full-on sprint back to the vehicle.
A dozen? That's terrifying.
They could distinctly hear them, panting right behind them at their feet, a terrifying auditory assault that would send shivers down anyone's spine. But here's the absolute kicker, the detail that throws everything into question. When they turned to look desperately, they saw nothing.
Nothing at all.
They never saw those coyotes.
That's where it truly gets mind-bending, isn't it? The sheer vividness of the auditory experience, the panting, the numbers, the proximity juxtaposed with the absolute lack of visual confirmation. This isn't just a missed sighting. They never saw them.
Yeah, that's the key.
So, expert, this raises an important question about the nature of these coyotes. Were they real animals that simply vanished, perhaps moving with impossible speed or disappearing into some unseen dimension?
Could be.
Or was this a purely psychological terror tactic, an auditory hallucination so potent and real it was orchestrated by the unseen entity? What does it imply if an intelligence can conjure such a specific, fear-inducing auditory manifestation without any physical presence?
That's the crux of it. The chilling effect of hearing something so close, so real, but seeing absolutely nothing is a masterclass in psychological harassment.
Right. It messes with your head.
It suggests an intelligence at play, capable of directly influencing perception, bypassing physical reality to target their primal fears. We have accounts in folklore from various cultures of trickster spirits or elemental beings capable of manifesting sounds, voices, or even phantom presences to deter trespassers or punish those perceived as disrespectful.
Ah, like a warning.
This isn't merely a random haunting. It feels like a direct, retaliatory consequence of their stated intention to trespass or be up to no good, indicating a very active, intelligent will behind these phenomena, almost as if it was punishing them for their hubris. The fact that the entity manifested coyotes, a predator of the wild, further grounds this fear in their immediate wilderness setting.
So, after this terrifying pursuit, they finally make it back to their truck, shaken to their core, and race back to their motel. It's around 1:30 a.m., deep into New Year's Day. You'd think the strangeness, the fear, the unseen watcher would all stay confined to the ranch, a phenomenon tied to that specific location.
You'd hope so.
But what happened next, miles away, back in the seeming safety of their motel room, room 119, suggests that whatever they encountered, or whatever was encountered, wasn't quite done with them.
Oh no.
This is where the concept of a tag-along phenomenon comes into stark relief.
That's right. And the shift from the wilderness to the presumed safety of a motel room only amplifies the unsettling nature of these events. Just an hour and a half later at 3 a.m., the first incident inside the motel room occurred.
Get ready for this.
The walls of their room began shaking violently, lasting over 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Violently.
Yeah. Their initial natural thought was that someone next door was perhaps banging on the wall, a common enough annoyance in a motel with thin walls. However, this is a critical detail. They heard no one talking.
No talking, just shaking.
Exactly. This struck them as particularly unusual because for the whole week we always heard conversations on both sides of our motel room. The walls seemed thin, so this made little sense.
That's a crucial observation, isn't it? If the walls were thin enough that they typically heard conversations, why would they hear nothing from the neighbors during a violent, sustained shaking that lasted over 10 minutes?
Right. It doesn't add up.
It almost unequivocally implies that the shaking was internal to their room or specifically targeted at them, rather than originating from an external source like a boisterous neighbor. A shaking lasting 10 minutes isn't a fleeting vibration. It's a significant, persistent disturbance.
It's a long time.
What level of energy or intent does that require from an unseen force?
It absolutely points to a highly localized and targeted disturbance. And the phenomena didn't just stop there.
Oh, there's more.
The following day, around 5 a.m., another strange event unfolded within room 119. A loud humming sound filled their room, persisting for almost 30 minutes.
Humming, like machinery.
Well, that's what they thought. But what's particularly baffling about this hum, much like the shaking, is its extreme localization. When they walked outside the room, they didn't hear the sound.
Stopped when they left the room.
Vanished. But as soon as they stepped back into the room, it was loud again. They naturally suspected a washing machine or some building machinery. But upon checking, The laundry room was conveniently located on the other side of the motel, confirming unequivocally that the sound was only in our room.
Only in their room. Wow. Imagine the sheer frustration, the mounting confusion, and perhaps even a creeping sense of paranoia experiencing such a distinct, persistent noise that just vanishes the moment you step outside your door, only to return full force the instant you re-enter.
Yeah.
It's like the room itself became a private, disturbing concert designed solely for them. It's a sensory assault that defies logic. And what makes this even more compelling and perhaps more isolating is the attempt to verify these events, or rather, the lack of external verification.
Indeed. Before checking out, understandably seeking some form of corroboration, they inquired at the front desk about noise complaints from other guests, specifically asking if anyone else had heard noises either night. The answer was resounding. Nobody else heard noises either night.
So it's just them.
Just them. This absence of external witnesses is profoundly significant. It forces the couple to grapple with an experience that, while intensely real for them, remains unverified by anyone else. Does it make the experience more potent and personal for them, or does it cast a shadow of doubt, making them question their own perception?
Makes you wonder, yeah.
Furthermore, when our narrator later visited the motel to investigate room 119, the attendant admitted that the room used to have a history of poltergeist or other paranormal activity.
Uh-huh. So there was something about the room.
Well, yes and no. She quickly qualified this, stating she believed it must have been some time ago since the last haunting, due to no recent reports.
Oh, so maybe dormant.
This vague admission, coupled with the some time ago caveat, adds another layer of complexity. Is this a resurgence of dormant activity, perhaps triggered by the couple's heightened state, or the entity that may have followed them?
Or maybe it did follow them. So let's tie these two locations together, because this leads us directly to the narrator's intriguing and rather pointed conclusion about these events. While they didn't believe the motel itself was inherently haunted, they clearly wanted to check for a history in that specific unit, just in case.
Makes sense. Due diligence.
But their ultimate suspicion was that someone out at the ranch had a bit of fun with them and kept them from getting a good night's sleep, their rationale. This couple, they believed, were the only people ever to admit being up to no good and wanting to go back and look around when nobody was looking. The implied message, as our narrator put it, was almost a cosmic or perhaps a localized justice. You keep us awake, we'll keep you awake. This perspective is fascinating because it explicitly suggests a conscious, even retaliatory entity.
This narrative thread is absolutely critical to understanding the intelligence at play here. It connects the disparate events, the ranch encounter, and the motel disturbances as a continuous, deliberate act, a form of direct consequence or even punishment.
Like payback.
Exactly. Is this a common theme in paranormal encounters where entities seem to react to human intentions or actions? Or does it suggest a very specific type of intelligence at play here? One that holds a form of moral judgment or simply a highly developed sense of territorial defense?
That's a deep question.
If the motel incidents aren't a coincidence, if they truly are an extension of the ranch entity's influence, it implies an intelligence not confined by physical location in the way we understand it. It suggests an ability to tag along, to exert influence over distances, or even to project its presence. This entity is not merely reactive. It seems capable of sustained, targeted harassment, almost as if delivering a tailored message. Your intentions have consequences. The narrator's interpretation effectively links the two locations, solidifying the idea of a single, powerful, and intelligent force at work, capable of teaching a very unpleasant lesson.
That's a powerful and slightly terrifying concept. A conscious intelligence that can extend its reach, delivering cosmic justice based on perceived transgressions. Okay, deep divers, let's shift gears now from the eerie, largely unseen presence at the ranch and the localized, psychological torment of the motel haunting to something far more overtly physical, immensely powerful, and equally mysterious out in the deep wilderness.
Okay, shifting focus.
We're moving into the hunter's strange tales. These accounts come from the husband of a coworker, an experienced hunter known not just for his prowess in the field, but for his truly unexpected and often harrowing encounters.
These ones are intense.
It's a stark transition from the subtle psychological manipulation we just heard to something overtly formidable and physically present in the dark timber, and it will really make you question what might be lurking just beyond the comfort of the campfire.
Our first story from this seasoned hunter begins just after 5 a.m. on a dark October morning. He and his brother-in-law arrived at their hunting location, And the hunter, accustomed to the methodical routine, slowly made his way past empty homemade horse corrals, navigating the pre-dawn darkness, looking for a clearing to settle in and let his eyes adjust to the low light.
Standard hunting procedure.
Right. This methodical, almost meditative approach to hunting, where all senses are heightened, makes the sudden disruption that much more impactful. That's when he first smelled it.
The smell again. Like the ranch photo. No, wait, this is different.
Different, yeah. And the description he gave is visceral, unforgettable. The odor reeked so bad it was worse than any bear or mountain lion I've smelled.
Worse than a bear or mountain lion. Okay, that's saying something.
Immediately after this profound olfactory shock, the instinctive warning signals began to ignite. He felt like I was being watched. And then, a profound physiological response. All the hair on my body stood up.
That primal response again.
This wasn't a fleeting thought or a trick of the mind. It was a primal, undeniable physical reaction to an extraordinary threat. His immediate response, honed by years of wilderness experience, was defensive and decisive. He chambered around in my rifle and unsnapped my holster so I could pull out my pistol.
That sequence of events, expert, is absolutely gripping. The unique, overpowering smell first, a truly alien scent, then the creeping, undeniable feeling of being watched, culminating in that intense physical sensation of hair standing on end and the immediate automatic preparation for defense.
Textbook reaction to extreme danger.
It speaks volumes about the nature of this threat. This isn't just an ordinary animal encounter. It's a profound, instinctive recognition of an extraordinary, very close, and potentially malevolent danger. And then the threat manifests itself terrifyingly.
Yeah, it gets loud.
Suddenly, maybe 10, 15 yards ahead of me, the hunter recounted, he heard a tremendous roar that was so loud it shook my entire body.
Shook his body. Wow.
The timber was still cloaked in pre-dawn darkness, so all I saw appeared to be a large, dark shadow. But this wasn't just a shadow. It was standing upright and moving just near the tree line.
Standing upright. Bipedal.
And as he turned, that immense shadow was looking at me. By this point, it was less than 25 feet from me.
25 feet. That's practically face-to-face in the dark. The physical impact of that roar, described as shaking his entire body, immediately conveys the immense power and sonic force of this creature.
Unbelievable power.
And its proximity, less than 25 feet in the murky darkness, is truly terrifying, putting the hunter in immediate life-threatening danger. The description, large, dark shadow, standing upright, an immense bipedal form, fits perfectly into many classic cryptid narratives, particularly those of North American ape-like creatures.
Sounds like Bigfoot territory.
Potentially.
Yeah.
This is clearly not a bear nor a mountain lion. This is something far larger, far more imposing, and capable of inspiring a profound, primal fear that transcends the fear of any known predator.
Right.
The darkness, while obscuring details, amplified the terror by leaving so much to the imagination while simultaneously confirming its colossal presence.
You can just imagine the sheer, paralyzing terror of facing an unknown, enormous entity, roaring and standing upright, so incredibly close in the pre-dawn dark. How does this overwhelming physical confrontation compare to the more subtle, invisible entity from the ranch?
It's a totally different flavor of fear, isn't it?
While both inspire profound fear, one is a subtle psychological invasion, perhaps manipulating perception, while this is an undeniable, overwhelming physical confrontation with something massive, powerful, and utterly beyond known biology.
Physical versus maybe psychic?
Yet, despite his terror, the hunter, a true veteran of the wild, still attempts to engage the creature, reaching for his rifle.
It's a testament to his experience and training that, under such extreme duress, his instincts kicked in to defend himself. He knelt down to take aim, but couldn't find it in the scope. It was just too dark.
Couldn't get a clear shot.
Yet, even in that moment of sheer panic and confusion, he made a deliberate, strategic decision that speaks volumes about his presence of mind. He popped one of my Winchester 300 Magnum shells out of the magazine and onto the ground so I could retrace my tracks when it was light out.
Smart, even terrified, he's thinking ahead.
Remarkable foresight. That's when the creature began to move, making its presence felt in an even more profound, physical way.
When it took its first step, it was a long and deliberate step in the direction away from me. I could feel the ground shake when it took that step.
The ground shaking that's concrete, undeniable evidence of the creature's immense weight and power. It's not just a visual or auditory hallucination. It's a physical reverberation through the earth itself, a palpable confirmation of its extraordinary mass.
Something huge. Imagine a creature so heavy that its single step makes the ground tremble. And that deliberate step away, expert, it's intriguing. It doesn't feel like a retreat born of fear, but almost a warning, or perhaps a decision to disengage on its own terms, indicating a degree of intelligence and control.
Like it chose to leave, not scared off.
What makes this story even more compelling is that the hunter wasn't alone in experiencing this profound terror, even if they were separated by a few hundred yards.
Absolutely. The hunter quickly retreated the 300, 400 yards back to my truck, where he found his brother-in-law already inside, visibly shaken to his core.
He was already in the truck.
Yeah, hiding. He was holding his pistol up and close to his chest, and when the hunter tried to open the door, his brother-in-law shook his head, refusing to open it, saying, "No way."
Wow, completely freaked out.
He, too, had heard it and said it made the hair on his body stand up straight as well. This shared independent experience, even without seeing the creature, is incredibly powerful. It unequivocally validates the hunter's terror and confirms the undeniable reality of the threat.
Two people hearing that roar.
The image of the brother-in-law, a presumably experienced individual already in the truck with his gun drawn, utterly terrified, speaks volumes about the sheer impact of that roar and the sense of impending danger. It wasn't just the sound, it was the sound of something truly monstrous.
So, after waiting until after the sun started to come up, and with some convincing, the hunter persuaded his still trembling brother-in-law to return to the exact spot.
Brave move, considering.
There, in the emerging light, he precisely located that Winchester 300 round he had dropped, confirming the exact location of the encounter.
Found the bullet. Proof.
And standing beside a prominent tree, now with the benefit of daylight, he could gauge the creature's height based on where it stood. Probably 9 feet tall, he told his trembling brother-in-law.
9 feet tall. That's enormous. The corroboration here is crucial, isn't it?
Definitely.
The shared auditory experience, combined with the physical evidence of the dropped round, and then the ability to estimate the creature's immense height, truly solidifies the account.
Hard to argue with that.
It absolutely does. The fact that the brother-in-law was still trembling hours later underscores the lasting psychological impact of the encounter, even with the safety of daylight. And they found more physical evidence.
Oh, yeah. What else?
They could also see and follow its tracks in the grass. As it was so heavy, it packed the grass down pretty good. What's particularly intriguing is that it never stepped onto the road.
Avoided the road.
It always walked along the side and in the grass all the way down to the creek, where the ground turned to really hard, clay-like black dirt. You could tell it was really heavy when we could see its prints on that hard soil. The prints were deep, clear impressions, not subtle disturbances.
That's a fascinating strategic detail, the deliberate avoidance of the road. What might that imply about this creature, expert? Is it a learned behavior, an instinctual avoidance of human infrastructure to remain hidden, or simply a preferred, perhaps more concealed path that allows it to move silently?
Could be any of those.
Yeah.
Intelligence, maybe. Stealth.
The visible prints, especially those so clearly defined on hard, clay-like black dirt, are compelling proof of extraordinary weight, far beyond any known local wildlife in that region.
Proof of weight, for sure.
And that awful feeling the hunter described when seeing those prints truly conveys the profound unease and lingering terror they experienced, a feeling that went beyond mere physical threat, suggesting a deeper existential dread.
Yeah, more than just scared.
The tracks continued across the creek and up into the dark timber, a boundary they wisely dared not cross, leaving the creature's ultimate destination shrouded in mystery.
Smart move not following it.
So, despite this terrifying encounter and the obvious trauma, the hunter and his brother-in-law, incredibly, actually continued hunting for the rest of the day, though they didn't get anything.
Dedicated, I'll give him that.
The next day, the hunter tried to convince his brother to look for more sign from that creature, but his brother was still too scared, too shaken by the roar to revisit the site. It truly shows the lingering, paralyzing effect of such an event.
Trauma is real.
But here's where the story gets even bigger, expert, hinting at a wider pattern of these incidents and suggesting that this wasn't just a one-off encounter, but an ongoing territorial phenomenon.
This is where the ripple effect of these encounters on other individuals becomes strikingly apparent and incredibly important for establishing a pattern.
Okay, what happened?
The hunter revealed that the very next weekend, a friend of his went hunting in the exact same general area where he had his terrifying encounter.
Game spot again.
General area, yeah. This man's father-in-law, in fact, owned the very ranch where these stories were unfolding, so he was intimately familiar with the land. Crucially, the hunter had not told him about his own experience from the week before.
So, completely independent account.
Totally. Yet this friend came back after the first day, all scared, saying something was out there roaring and yelling at him. It evidently scared him so bad, he said he's never hunting again.
Never hunting again. Wow. That's huge for a hunter.
This isn't just an anecdote. This is an independent, corroborating account of extreme psychological and physical intimidation.
That's incredibly powerful, isn't it? An independent, corroborating account experienced by someone completely unaware of the prior incident. The level of fear was so extreme, it caused this experienced outdoorsman, someone with deep ties to that land, to abandon hunting forever.
Life-changing fear.
That's not a casual decision. That's a significant, life-altering event driven by profound terror. And our narrator interjected with another anecdote, one that ties directly into this pattern. The team of men who were cutting fuel wood and left everything behind as they fled back down the mountain.
Another group scared off.
The hunter confirmed this second location was only 3 miles apart as the crow flies from his own encounter.
These repeated independent accounts, all describing similar phenomena, roaring, yelling, and eliciting the same extreme fear, form a very compelling pattern.
It's not just one guy's story anymore.
It strongly suggests a territorial, aggressive entity, or perhaps a small population of entities, capable of driving experienced outdoorsmen away through sheer intimidation. The fact that the fuel woodcutters abandoned their equipment in their panic is another powerful testament to the overwhelming fear these encounters provoke.
Left everything. Tools, gear.
Everything. This behavior seems consistent across different individuals and different encounters in the same general area, making it increasingly difficult to dismiss as isolated incidents, mere imagination, or misidentified animals. It points to a pervasive, active presence.
As if roaring giants, capable of inspiring lifelong terror, weren't enough, the hunter proceeded to describe another truly perplexing discovery he made while scouting.
Oh, this one's weird.
He was in an area with remnants of old gold mines from the mid-late 1800s, a place already steeped in history and mystery, when he noticed a deer stuck up in a tree.
Okay, mountain lions do that sometimes, right? Cache their kills.
Well, listen to the details. They are bizarre, utterly defying explanation. Its head was stuck in a wedge, and its hindquarters were shredded apart.
Shredded, not eaten, and wedged.
But here's the kicker, the detail that makes it truly impossible. It was nearly 15 feet into the tree.
15 feet. No way a cat did that. This discovery, as you say, defies all conventional explanation for predation. The hunter, an expert tracker and observer of wildlife, meticulously looked for any sign of a mountain lion or other known predators, but couldn't see any tracks, drag marks, or even claw marks the cat would leave struggling to get the deer up the tree. Nothing.
No drag marks, no claw marks, nothing.
Crucially, the deer was shredded, not merely picked at by scavengers or a typical predator. To emphasize the impossibility, a mountain lion might hoist a smaller deer into a tree, but never 15 feet up, and not without leaving extensive evidence of the struggle and ascent.
Right, you'd see signs.
And the precise wedging of the head. This isn't just an animal carcass, it's a forensic puzzle, a scene of bizarre and inexplicable power.
So let's break this down, expert. What animal, known to science, has the incredible strength to lift a full-grown deer 15 feet into a tree, the dexterity or precision to wedge its head in such a deliberate manner, and a unique predatory style that shreds its prey without leaving any of the usual signs of a struggle, tracks, or climbing?
Nothing known. Absolutely nothing.
This points to a creature entirely outside our known classifications of predators, something with capabilities that simply shouldn't exist in our current zoological understanding. And it gets even stranger, hinting at a level of intelligence beyond mere instinct.
Indeed. The unique combination of immense strength and precise manipulation almost points to something beyond a typical animal predator. It implies an intelligence that perhaps uses these acts as markers, or even as a macabre form of display.
Like a warning sign.
Could be. And then there's the structures. On another trip, the hunter and a friend stumbled upon a large teepee structure made out of large trees.
Teepees made of trees, like big ones.
Huge. They tried moving the smallest of the trees, but couldn't budge it, confirming the immense weight and secure placement. This alone speaks to incredible strength. Later, in an even more heavily wooded area, they found one twice its size.
Twice the size? How big were these trees?
The hunter's conviction was that it would take a helicopter or heavy equipment to build such a thing. The trees were so huge.
That's astonishing. The sheer physical impossibility of humans constructing these structures with any available means in that wilderness, combined with the immense size of the trees, reinforces the idea of a creature with extraordinary strength and perhaps even a rudimentary organized intelligence.
Exactly. Organized construction.
What purpose do these structures serve? Are they territorial markers, shelters, a form of primitive architecture, or something else entirely? Perhaps a form of communication or infrastructure for these unknown entities?
That's the million-dollar question. We see these reports quite often.
The implications for our understanding of animal intelligence and capability are profound. And the hunter's experiences don't stop there. He's got even more corroborating details and other specific incidents.
He does. The hunter has several friends who are veterinarians and taxidermists who are now so intrigued by the really strange stuff, he finds they're eager to join him on his trips.
Smart friends. Vets and taxidermists would be useful.
Right. For example, during one trip, one of my friends discovered some strange hair. They had it meticulously tested, but the results came back definitively as unknown.
Unknown hair, tested by experts.
Yep. The significance of unknown test results from experts in animal biology. People trained to identify animal species through hair analysis cannot be overstated. It pushes the mystery beyond known species, suggesting something truly undiscovered and unclassifiable within our current biological framework.
Wow. Undeniable evidence, almost.
Our narrator also mentioned Josiah's hike, where he had the stones thrown at him while he sat inside a teepee. And the hunter knew that area well, offering yet another parallel to an intelligent, potentially aggressive interaction with these structures.
Stones thrown. Yeah, that
Yeah.
suggests intent, aggression.
And the physical evidence of colossal power, of sheer brute force, just keeps accumulating. While turkey hunting with my cousin, the hunter heard something down below was making a lot of noise, but I couldn't see what it was.
More noises.
They investigated, finding a large log that had recently been stepped on near a creek. The hunter stated it had to be heavier than a bear. That's all he can say. The sound wasn't mere crack, but a loud, dull popping or crushing sound of a thick log that was snapped with immense force.
Snapped a thick log just by stepping on it.
Ironically. And to add to the sheer, almost impossible strength required, part of it was stuck really deep into the ground.
Embedded in the ground.
Yeah.
Being stepped on.
The specific description of the sound, a loud, dull popping or crushing sound, rather than a sharp crack, combined with the sheer force implied to snap a thick log and embed part of it so deeply into the ground, further reinforces the colossal weight and power of this creature.
Unbelievable weight.
This isn't merely a large animal. This is a destructive force that leaves undeniable physical evidence of its presence and capabilities. This accumulation of details across multiple incidents, from the roaring encounter to the impossible deer mutilation, the unbuildable structures, the unknown hair, and the snapped log, paints a consistent picture of something extraordinarily powerful, highly territorial, and utterly unexplainable by conventional zoology.
It really builds a case.
It suggests a resident, powerful force in this wilderness, leaving an indelible mark.
So, if we bring all these terrifying threads together, expert, what's the cumulative impact of these experiences on the individuals who live and interact with this wilderness?
Our hunter knows about 5-6 men who were scared so bad they quit deer and elk hunting altogether in that particular area. That statement carries immense weight, doesn't it? For seasoned hunters, for whom deer and elk hunting is often a deeply ingrained passion, a significant part of their identity, to abandon it altogether due to fear speaks volumes.
It really does.
It indicates a level of trauma, a sustained unease, and a profound reevaluation of the safety of the wilderness that goes far beyond typical wildlife encounters. This isn't just one isolated incident for one person. It suggests a widespread, recognized, and terrifying phenomenon in that specific region, affecting multiple experienced individuals to the point of altering their lives and hobbies entirely.
It's like a known danger zone for those who know.
It's a testament to the power and psychological impact of these encounters.
So we've explored two very different yet equally unsettling categories of phenomena today. On one hand, the Midnight Ranch story presented an entity that is primarily unseen, perhaps using psychological tactics like those invisible coyotes, and leaving peculiar localized haunting effects at the motel.
Right, the stealthy, maybe psychic approach.
On the other hand, the hunter's strange tales focused on a very physical, immensely powerful bipedal creature, leaving undeniable tracks, roaring with incredible force, building impossible structures, and even causing physical damage like that deer in the tree and the snapped log.
The overt physical tower house.
Expert, this prompts a fascinating discussion. Are these entirely separate phenomena, or could they be different manifestations, different facets of the same type of unknown intelligence?
That's the big question.
What do these diverse accounts, ranging from subtle, almost poltergeist-like activity to brute physical force, tell us about the hidden aspects of our world?
That's a profound question, and it really challenges our tendency to neatly categorize the unknown. While the manifestations are distinct, the underlying thread of an intelligent, territorial, and possibly retaliatory force seems to connect them.
There is that common thread, intent.
Perhaps these entities operate on a spectrum, capable of both subtle psychological manipulation and overt physical demonstration of power. The ranch entity's ability to tag along to the motel suggests a non-localized influence, while the wilderness creature's physical evidence points to a strong physical presence.
So one type of entity, different methods.
It forces us to consider that our understanding of paranormal versus cryptid might be too rigid. Could these be different tools in the arsenal of a highly adaptive unknown intelligence? Or are there multiple forms of unknown life and intelligence coexisting, sometimes interacting with our perceived reality?
Multiple types.
Yeah.
That's also possible. And this really gets at the heart of the human need to categorize and explain, doesn't it?
We love our boxes.
Both sources describe events that utterly defy conventional scientific or zoological explanation. Invisible figures caught on camera, localized shaking and humming, phantom coyotes, a 9-foot bipedal creature, impossible deer mutilations, unbuildable structures, and even hair samples that return unknown results from scientific testing.
The evidence piles up.
These aren't just strange occurrences. They actively undermine our established frameworks for understanding the world.
What's critical here is that these aren't isolated one-off anomalies that can be easily dismissed. They form a pattern of recurring, unexplainable events across different witnesses and different time frames, often concentrated in specific geographic areas.
That geographic concentration is key.
These stories aren't just challenges to our existing scientific models. They are direct challenges to the very boundaries of our known reality. They force us to confront the possibility that there's far more to our world, and perhaps even within our world, than what our current scientific or philosophical frameworks can account for.
Yeah, it opens things up.
The sheer volume and consistency of the evidence demand a revaluation of what we assume to be fact.
So for you, the listener, what stands out most from these accounts? How would you react if faced with such an overwhelming sense of the unknown, an invisible presence, or such clear, undeniable physical evidence that defies every bit of logic you've ever learned about the natural world?
Put yourself in their shoes for a second.
These aren't just campfire tales. They are fragments of profound, life-altering experiences that fundamentally shift one's perception of reality. They make you question everything you thought you knew about what's out there. We've journeyed through some truly startling accounts today, from the silent, flash photo-captured watcher at the ranch and its lingering, localized harassment at a motel, to the roaring, immense giant in the dark timber that leaves behind footprints, impossible structures, and a trail of sheer terror.
Quite a range of unsettling experiences.
We've seen how quickly certainty can give way to utter confusion and primal fear when faced with the inexplicable, and how these encounters can permanently alter lives and perspectives. It's a reminder that even in our seemingly well-charted world, there are vast, dark corners.
And that's the enduring mystery, isn't it? These stories, whether they describe interdimensional beings, undiscovered cryptids, or something else entirely, serve as a powerful reminder that our maps of the world, both physical and conceptual, may contain vast, unexplored territories teeming with phenomena we're only just beginning to grasp.
Unexplored territories right under our noses.
What other strange phenomena might be hiding just beyond our current understanding, waiting for us to stumble upon them, to catch them in a flash, or hear their roar in the dark? And what would it truly mean for us as a species if these mysterious forces aren't just observing, but actively shaping our experience of the wilderness and even the comfort of our motel rooms, interacting with us and perhaps even passing judgment?
Passing judgment.
Wow. It's a thought that truly gives us pause, and perhaps a reason to look a little closer and listen a little harder the next time we feel that prickle on the back of our neck.